Hope everybody's doing great. It's Scott Beebe with Business on Purpose. Time to be liberated from the chaos of working in your business. Make sure to check out bopwebinar.com. We've got the next webinar at the time of this recording coming up this coming Tuesday, actually a week from tomorrow, and we will be focused on how to create 6 months worth of cash. We're going to walk you through some tools that you can begin to do that. Hey, there are 4 steps that we have found as setting crystal clear as mud expectations. And I wanted to walk through those because as the year 2020 has kind of motored on, it has been a year both locally, regionally, nationally, where in your local space, whether it be school districts, business, whatever, there can feel like a lot of chaos and confusion. Nationally, certainly there's felt like a lot of chaos and confusion. And I just got off of a phone call with a dear friend of mine who is in Ghana, and he was just kind of reflecting back. It's a really solid professional in Ghana who's reflecting back on what he's seeing. He's a Nigerian living in Ghana, looking at America, and what he's found is just he kind of shakes his head because there's been such a lack of clarity. And human beings long for clarity. We want to know precisely when the train will arrive, exactly when school will resume in person, and definitively when my Instacart order is going to show up. When is that coming? Large corporations have entire departments focused solely on communication. Communicating with the public, with employees, with customers, with regulators, with vendors, with suppliers. But what about small business? Typically, it's the owner, it's you who will have to embrace the banner of clear communication for the business team and really begin thoughtfully and repetitively empowering others to generate their own clear communication. Communication is one of the kindest actions that we can take as business owners to really bring clarity to all of the other partners around us. And in fact, I looked up the very root of the word communication. It means to share. That's it. It's just the root of the whole word is this idea of sharing. Oh, I know. If mom could see you now, as you recall all the kindergarten cliches about how sharing is caring, right? And all those things are coming to your head. Well, in fact, if sharing is caring, but only if sharing is done in truth, kindness, generosity, shrewdness, and discretion. Notice I said sharing with shrewdness. There is a way to be shrewd and thoughtful and mindful all at the same time. You know, all met the keep this between me and you guy, right? That guy is just, hey, just keep this between me and you, who you know has spread what they're about to share with you to plenty of other people before. And we've all spent time with the I hate to gossip lady, you know what I'm talking about, when she pivots with a simple but and then drops this gossip bomb on us. That's not careful sharing. Careful sharing means laying the foundation, concrete forethought, timeliness, impact, outcomes, all of those laid out. So what I walk you through are 4 steps that you can use, very simple, to create communication that will be helpful and set some powerfully clear expectations for everyone that's involved. So these 4 things really quick. Number 1, remember communication is going to take a lot longer than you think. If I had $1 for the number of times that the expectations were clear in my own head and yet still led to confusion in other people, it's not their fault. Instead, my expectations have not had the necessary time to brew, to develop, to build clarity for other people. And so when I'm laying out expectations, we just laid out a huge 4th quarter challenge to our group coaching clients called the O2 Challenge. There's a lot of moving parts in this challenge. We're working with owners and key leaders. I have to expect questions. I have to expect curiosity. I have to expect confusion. Just because it's clear to me and I feel like I've done my due diligence, we've done a lot of work on the back end, does not mean it's clear to somebody else. So many business owners are driver personalities, go, 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 results, 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 and they're prone to rush the results. But the results of clear communication often come with slowness and time, and that's hard for drivers. The second thing I'd encourage you to do when you're laying out clear communication is to write down your expectations. Literally write them down on a document or a sheet of paper. The simple value of writing things down is proven every single time to read, if you just go read an important historical document. Think of something like the U.S. Constitution or Luther's 95 Theses and his volumes of other writings that he wrote throughout his life, or the history of trees, whatever it might be. Oral cultures have existed in the past, but the ones that have endured are the ones that have transcribed the oral culture into written histories. And so many business owners and key leaders are even taking the peculiar step of writing out a simple outline before they go into a hard conversation with an employer or customer, and literally taking their notes out and using their notes and saying, I wrote this down because I really wanted to make sure I got this right. And so using that shows that you've got thought, shows that you've got kindness. So write down your expectations so others have time to digest. The third thing that I would encourage you to do when laying out clear expectations is to set a formal time to share your expectations. A meeting, a sit down, a time over lunch. It's not uncommon to hear a business owner frustratingly respond with, but I told them the process the other day and they just don't listen. Well, if all Ashley and I did for the health of our marriage was to talk in passing and just to kind of, we mentioned this and then we moved on, then it'd be a long marital road. But we have intentional times to sit down and to discuss and to dream and to ideate together. We have formal times, sitting down in the evening. Sometimes we go on overnights away or whatever it might be, but we sit down and we have those conversations. We need to do that in our business as well. And finally, that fourth step to really lay out clear communication, clear expectation, is to realize that sometimes you'll never fully be understood, and that's okay, and that's hard. This morning, I was reading accounts of a few stories that Jesus was actually sharing with his apprentices, those people who followed him around. And once he wrapped up one particular storytelling period, he walked to his hometown of Nazareth, which is halfway between the Sea of Galilee and the Mediterranean Sea, still to this day in Israel. And some of the townspeople he grew up with were curious as to how he'd become so famous. And frankly, they were kind of offended by his fame. And so they were talking about him. And he turned to the small group following him and he simply said this, and I thought this was powerful. He said, "A prophet is honored everywhere except his own hometown and among his own family. Sometimes, regardless of your clarity, you will simply be misunderstood. I have yet to find the magic elixir of how to reconcile that feeling. But it makes me feel better knowing that even Jesus himself, the Son of God, was not able to bring clarity to everyone. And so neither will I. But for the ones who do find clarity, it will be worth the effort. And for the rest, it may still be clear as mud." So part of setting clear expectations is having both thoughtfulness and a process. And so we've unlocked the entire Business on Purpose roadmap coaching experience to help you build those necessary processes in your business. If you just go to mybusinessonpurpose.com/free, you can get started there. And I think we're pretty clear on the expectations if you want to lay that out. And I also wanted to mention this, coming up here in a week and a half at the time of this recording, I mentioned this at the outset. You go to bopwebinar.com. And on Tuesday, I believe it's October 13th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, we'll be walking you through the steps to how to build 6 months worth of cash in your business. And now, you still got to do a lot of work. We're just going to give you the tools and the roadmap to be able to do that. But make sure you go to bopwebinar.com. And if you're listening to this on YouTube or our podcast and it's after the time of this recording, still go to bopwebinar.com. Our latest webinar is always at that URL for you to be able to get access to. Hey, thanks for joining us. We love having you here on the Facebook Live. Also, make sure to check us out on YouTube. You can connect with us at My Business on Purpose on Facebook, myself on LinkedIn. We're on those channels there so that you can contact us. And then, of course, you need to make sure you check out and subscribe to the Business on Purpose podcast. You can hear every bit of this content there on the podcast. Have a great day, everybody, and let's be clear.